See if I'm live here. Am I live? Yep, I'm live. I just gotta see if the audio is working. Alrighty, okay, I think everything should be working now. So if you're not just tuning in, this is a different live stream that I'm doing right now. Basically, we got something very serious that's going to happen today and tomorrow, which I'll be talking about later. Seems like we're about to enter into a severe weather like situation right now and tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna start talking about this. So right now we got a trough that's sitting over Arizona right now. It's basically like not connected to the jet stream at all. And what this is going to do is it's going to cause some problems. It's going to cause some problems throughout the Great Plains and the Midwest and the South. So that's why we got an enhanced risk today for Kansas, for the entire like Kansas City metropolitan area, and including the Topeka Lawrence area as well. And this is going to bring in some very crazy hail, and that's the main hazard. And the reason why, oops, I think I'm in the, yeah, I clicked the wrong one. Oh wait, yeah, it's not like, well, it's not like you can do that, but all right, so here it is. We got a 30% hatched area for very large hail. We could see 2 inches or way over. I think baseballs are possible with this setup here, and this is gonna bring in, like, it's gonna cause some damage to like trees, windows, and it can cause injury too. And if you are under a considerable severe thunderstorm warning or something like that throughout this region, if you're under a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, you should get indoors and do not go outside, and stay away from windows too, because sometimes like hailstone, baseball sized hail, they can break windows easily, and you do not want that to happen. So yeah, I'd be careful about that. If you're in Kansas City and Lawrence and stuff like that. We also got a wind threat, which is a 50% chance of damaging winds. I mean, this is nothing too crazy for some damaging winds, but it's not bad. It's not a bad threat either. So damaging winds is possible. Thankfully, it's not a hatched area for damaging winds. Otherwise, we're gonna see hail go sideways, and it's going to create more problems, but it's still going to create problems either way. We also have a tornado threat, which it's low, but it's not, it does exist. We might see a few tornadoes likely throughout Kansas City and in the surrounding areas of that region. So yeah. Another thing I'm going to point out is we got an extension out here towards the St. Louis area. Basically, St. Louis is under a 2 to 4% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. So, which I'm going to be talking about later. Also, I did check, the hail was also at a 15% over there, but it's not a hatched area, thankfully. And another thing another thing I'm going to point out is, basically, St. Louis is a little bit on the lower side of things, but there is still a chance for some sort of storms that are going to fire in that region, which I'll be talking about shortly. But now here's the fun part, everyone. Whoever's watching the stream, I highly doubt anyone's watching because people are at school. But I'm gonna publish this because I think this is important. If you take a look at this, this is a big area this is a big slight risk, and we do got an enhanced risk over here. in Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and a little bit of northern Texas. The DFW area is like basically avoiding the enhanced risk, which is good, but they're still under the gun for some sort of storms in that area. So cities like Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Springfield, Branson, maybe Joplin. That's pretty much it. That's all I know about the cities that are in the path of this and stuff like that. So the only concerning part about this is going to be very large hail, and it's at 30% hatched over here in this region. Right now, they just released this update, so I was kind of surprised not seeing a 10% tornado threat, but honestly, I know why they would issue. I actually know why they wouldn't issue that just yet because these storms look to be more of a either linear mode or they're all going to be clumped together. Or these storms are going to be clumped together and then not going to do any. It's not going to produce anything too strong. But I wouldn't rule out a strong tornado though. I wouldn't rule that out. But yeah, the 5% tornado threat extends from Illinois all the way to northern Texas. Cities like Little Rock, St. Louis, my home city, Springfield, Fort Smith are all under the gun for some sort of tornado environment. Basically, there's enough stuff in the atmosphere that can support tornadoes in some way, but I'm not expecting a very high threat of tornadoes at all. So here's our wind outlook. We got a 30% chance of damaging winds, and to be honest, I'm happy this is not a hatch threat. Otherwise, this would have been a very bad situation for that area right in here. So that would be very, very bad. Thankfully, it is not a hatch damaging wind threat at all. So, yeah, tomorrow is something to watch, and this is this is supposed to be watchable tomorrow. I will be chasing this. I will be chasing tomorrow's event and today's event here, which I'm going to be chasing the slight risk edge here, which they included St. Louis in it, which I am honestly, I didn't expect that to happen, but it is what it is. Day 3, we've got a marginal risk of severe weather across the Dixie Alley. I'm not expecting a big event to happen at all in that region, but I do expect some isolated damaging winds and maybe some hail. I don't know about a tornado threat, but we'll see once we get into day 2 of that outlook. So, alrighty, let's check our models here. Give me 1 second. I just gotta. Oh, hold up, guys. I gotta go eat. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. I had to get my food and not let the cats eat it for a reason, so I'm bringing it down with me. So therefore, had to do that. Had to pull a smart move. Anyways, let's check our. Let's see. Which one is it? I think it's this. Okay, so we're gonna check. We're gonna check the NAM here first because the NAM likes to overperform during the springtime, and sometimes it's not trust. I don't trust the NAM that much, but people have been saying, hey, the NAM sometimes kind of is accurate during the springtime. I mean, honestly, if that's what they said, then okay, thanks for the reminder. Because I'm new to this, guys, so I've only been doing this for like several months now. All right, anyways, so here we go. Let's check our supercell composites right here. Forecasting loop. Here's our forecast loop. So I think this is the recent update here. Yeah, this is the recent update. Here we go. So the NAM, according to the NAM, we got some sort of environment here that's firing in Missouri. If you take a look at the hodos, this isn't a bad hodograph right here. You can see the curvature on that. Pretty solid hodograph. 3 capes pretty good. Dew point and temperature are pretty good. 61 over 73. That's enough to support a possible tornado. The shear pretty good. Let's see. Our cape is pretty good as well. So basically, this is an interesting look. If over here in western Missouri. Actually, wait a minute. No, though that's today's. That's my bad. All right. I mean, basically, that's today's event here. That's coming through. This is the 5% that the NAM is doing right now, or it's trying to do. That's what their sounding is, and then it continues to rise a little bit at 6 p.m. Still looking strong. A pretty favorable hodo right here. The dew point rises a little bit. Temperature starts to go down though. Still a lot better because the low level jet just increases when it's night. And then that's pretty much it. And then we go to tomorrow's event. The NAM likes to put it in Iowa and Illinois, but I highly doubt anything's gonna have, like, this is honestly overperforming the event a little bit. Like, this is just overperforming. That's why the NAM is not a good model to look at, in my opinion. But you can see this is just their honest opinion on what's going to happen or what's happening. But to be honest, I don't think that's the right call here. And this is a pretty old model too. So something to keep an eye out right here. If the NAM is correct, but I don't think they're 100% probably not going to be correct on that. What about the GFS for the Midwest? I am only storm chasing the Midwest areas. I'm not going to go after Texas or Arkansas. I'm not going after those because it's supposed to be a nighttime. It's supposed to be a nighttime event here. So here's what the GFS has to say. At least this is around 12 p.m. And can you load, please? Can you load? I think this is at 12 in the morning. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Here's today. GFS doesn't show much for tonight's event here. Supercell composites are all in the 3s, 4s, but you can see there's a more pro environment here in the on the I-70 corridor, and that's not a bad look for a hodograph. And the dew point and the temperature are a little lower. However, it's still supportive for a storm to fire in that region if GFS is correct. Yeah, I think that it's possible that this area could go big, but really, I don't know. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. Here is tomorrow's event. The GFS shows the supercell composites over here instead of over here like the NAM does, but you can see a little bit of yellows right there, and this is really, you can see that curve. That is not a favorable curvature hodograph there, but it is still something to keep an eye out. But yeah, this is something to keep in mind. And yeah, you can see it dies off at 6 p.m. I don't think the GFS is really good with stuff that up close, like the next day or two, but we'll see what happens. I think the best model to look at if it's up close is around probably HRRR, but I'm going to go for NAM3K first, and then we'll go from there. So only checking supercell composites. The significant tornado parameter is kind of pointless to look at. That's what I was told. So even though I look at it on my off time, I still don't trust it. It's interesting though. Here's the NAM3K. So we do got supercell composites in like right around here. Here's 16. An interesting curvature right there. So basically the GFS and the NAM3K are focusing more in Missouri today, it looks like, but NAM3K is more to the west. And oh my goodness, that is a sounding that I've ever seen. That's a sounding. A PDS tour, that hodograph looks pretty favorable in my opinion, and the dew point and temperature look pretty good too. Shear also pretty good. It's a really good shear. This is something to keep an eye out if that's the case. And you can see we got our dry line right there in Kansas as well. And looking at tomorrow's event, you can see things start to rise a little bit. You can see supercell composites starting to rise again. Let's check our look at our hodos. Not a bad hodograph. That's not bad. Actually, it looks pretty good according to the NAM3K. But not a PDS sounding, which is good news. So yeah, that's good. That's great news. Not a favor. Looks a little bland, and you can see the temperature and dew points are the same. So that's just not really that favorable. But that's what it looks like according to the NAM3K. All right, what about HRRR? The HRRR is one of my favorites. Hello, everyone who are now just tuning in. Hi, Clint. Hi, Cyanimates. Welcome to the stream. Just posting what I'm gonna do for tonight and tomorrow. Basically a 2-day storm chase in March. It's gonna be an interesting one. So here's the Wednesdays. Here's Wednesdays. I think it goes that far. I think the 18Z is going to come out in an hour, so I'm going to be checking that later. But yeah, you can see this is Wednesday at 3 o'clock. You got some supercell composites rising a little bit, and you can see that the HRRR is showing storms or supercell composite happening in Illinois. Right here. Weird hodograph, I'm not gonna lie, but our dew point and temperature is pretty good. Shear's looking good. I feel like the problem with this could be the capping, but really I think we could see something if the cap does break in that region, because I'm not seeing like much. And HRRR does go out further, goes out tomorrow. You can see supercell composites again. Wow, just wow. And even in Missouri too, like 28. But it is not, that photograph just looks a little ugly in my opinion, but holy moly, the rest look really insane. The Cape 3000, that's crazy Cape right there. So if that happens, if that area right around Columbia, like supercell composites in the 30s, according to the HRRR. Wow, that's crazy how something like that can happen. Let's look at right here. Wow, in Illinois too. This is, by the way, this is tomorrow's event. It's not showing me. Come on, load. Okay, this is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous, like, that's a ridiculous sounding for supercells. But you can see the hodograph gets a little bit of a curvature on this thing. I think that would be something to watch out for at around 6 p.m. But we'll see what happens with the new updated HBR that goes out that far. So something to keep an eye out. Let's go to recent. Let's go to 17Z. That's the shortest one. Oh, this is not updated yet. We should not go there yet. We should not go there. Alrighty, so here we go. This is today. It only goes to like 18 hours, so it won't go to like tomorrow's event yet. But once the 18Z goes, that means we're going to see more of a favorable environment. I mean, it'll read like what's going to happen. So here we go. See our supercell composites start to rise a little bit. It's showing the same thing in my opinion, but this time Illinois is just not doing it anymore. Let's check our, where is it at? Okay, this is it. Composite reflectivity. Alrighty, here we go. I think this is it. So here's our composite reflectivity. I forgot to check the other composite reflectivity on the long range, which I'll be I'll be talking about later. 22Z. This is at 4 p.m. and then probably around 5 o'clock. You can see we got storms firing right here near these counties. I don't know what they're called, but I know this is Franklin County right here, Jefferson County, St. Charles County. So these storms are going to race towards Franklin County and cause some hail, some damaging winds, and maybe a tornado. And you can see the main event is starting to ramp up too in the Kansas City area. Got some big time hailers. Holy smokes. That's a weird curvature. Well, that's a curvature. The recape's really bad though, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, you can see storms in St. Louis are possible, and then they become more linear as time goes on too. All right, let's go back to 12. Let's go to 12Z now. We'll check 17Z. We'll check 17Z next, and then we're gonna talk about which target areas I'm gonna head to for today and tomorrow. So here's our composite reflectivity. So it does show the same thing in a way, but instead you can see that it's in St. Louis is getting it. The entire city gets hit. Linear mode. You can see there's a lot of convection up here, which is going to probably limit the threat. And you can see tomorrow at 3 p.m. This is 2 p.m. You got some sort of storm environment. You got some storms firing in that region, and you can see some of them are discrete too, which is probably going to ramp the tornado threat a little bit more, which I am kind of concerned about. 22Z still, we got supercell still discrete. Still got a discrete still discrete though. These are really, they're really juicy supercells too. Like this is what the HRRR is showing. Some juicy cells that are capable of producing large to very large hail, even tornadoes as well. So if HRRR uptrends tomorrow, then this is going to cause some big time hail. A tornado or two is not out of the question either. And yeah, that just weakens out just like that. Here's 17Z. So far, probably gonna show the same thing. Yep, shows the same thing. This is at 6 p.m. right here. This is when it starts to enter into Franklin County. You can see it starts to become more of a linear type of situation later on. Got a marginal severe. That's not too bad. Yeah, you can see storms race towards St. Louis, and yeah, you can see some sort of hail environment there. And maybe we could see a possible tornado, but that's an ugly photograph right there. I don't like it. I don't like that. Let's check our supercell composites here. As you can see, supercell